Okay, so I just finished setting up a Cisco packet tracer, just a whole setup, quick and easy. It's something that, like, I don't fully like the Cisco packet tracer way of working, but it's, if you're a beginner and you don't have a setup yet and you want to know how things work, this is a really good one. I myself will be releasing some Nginx like configuration that you can set up at your home, or Nginx, like based on top of Nginx, right? If you're looking to learn and understand how to route, use Nginx and just routers in general, this is a very good and very nice little course just for you, that is going to make it and explain it to you very easily what you have to do in general when you're routing statically. If you're, like, for example, setting up a website or some sort of server system where you easily need to figure out or find your network and your devices, this is the best course for you, and you will have no trouble setting up your routers and etc. Through this. Like, especially since, like, routers and all that stuff is usually not going to really depend. When I use Nginx, I don't think, or I don't believe that I am setting up active subnets and those kinds of things. So it's gonna be, if you can do this, setting up your home lab, your network, etc. Like, maybe in a company it's going to be a different story. It's gonna be like a little bit more difficult, but you'll find out here how to set up a good router network, or the start at least of a good router network, and how to connect many different devices to each other and be able to send them traffic messages and other kinds of data just through the whole regular setup of how a network or the internet works. And I hope you enjoy it. It's a long video, but it's one that if you'd like to do this, this is going to be the way it is. And once you know it and understand it, it will be easier, it will be faster, and you won't need that much explanation, but still you'll find it very useful, even if you are already a little bit more advanced than the regular. Okay, so today I'm gonna set up a 5 router setup of something that could be a 5 company or 5 department setup in a company, but I couldn't really find anything that explained this really well. So I'm gonna set up, or at least do the thing that's currently visible on the screen. But for that, I am going to create a new and empty project that we are seeing here right now. And so what I'm going to be doing is I am going to set this up with the 2911 routers, a quick and easy ring topology, where I will be managing this thing with the copper straight through cable. But before we start doing this part, we are going to first add some switches. Now I will add some switches. I'm pressing Control to add multiple switches. Sometimes this doesn't work. I've done this on many systems. Not all the shortcuts work in every situation. It's for some reason different when we're using cables, and it's Control Shift. But for now, I am setting up this topology with a single computer. If you want to do the full thing of what I did at the start, it's not really that difficult. I just add more. But for now, I am I am going to make sure that this thing works in the first place. If you'd look at the first part of this video, you would see that that it's just the same setup, but I always added one of the PC that we're doing now. I added this to the side, so I know which computer is an active computer, because all the other computers are just basically inactive and non-working in that setup. But right now, I am going to make sure that the cables and everything in between are properly set up, and going to be working as they should. Okay, so one of the things that I need to do is I need to go to options and make sure that I am showing here the ports that are enabled, so that when I am connecting these, that it will be just easy to see what I am connecting. In a real life situation, that would be way more obvious than I'm doing right now. So I want to make sure that everything is well and properly set up. I am going to start, and I'm going to start this by making sure you know, and I'm going to press Ctrl Shift so I can do multitudes. The inner network I'm going to always just attach through the 0, 0, and then add it to the one of the fast Ethernet ports. Apparently it's not working. To keep it alive, is it going to be Control? Just no, neither Control or Control Shift is working at the moment. So I need to, oh, okay, now Control Shift is working. So I need to set these up. Gigabit Ethernet port 0 to gigabit Ethernet port, fast Ethernet port 1 on all the switches. And then of course I can just connect a switch, any port, to a working PC, because the switch, of course, it doesn't matter what we connect it to. It's always going to figure out, you know, it's going to be our network. So in this case, it's definitely not a necessity to do so. Then one of the things I'm going to do is connect these babies up here. I'm going to start at the top with a 0, 1, add a 0, 2 to the next, 0, 1, 0, 2 to 0, 1, 0, 2 to 0, 1. Oh, I made a mistake. 0, 2 to 0, 1. This is very important that you don't make those mistakes, that you catch them early on, because if you make one mistake here, you know, the packets are not going to arrive where they should or as they should, and then you are going to get into trouble. So now we have these setups completely in order and intact. It's pretty easy to follow along, and it's going to not like be too difficult to set up, but you do need to make sure you're actively and consciously following, because if you mix up the numbers here, there's going to be definitely problems that going to make your life a little bit of a nightmare, or a little bit hard, especially if you're a beginner or you don't know how this is set up from the beginning, which I mean, I think if someone's watching this, they're likely unable to do this. Maybe you're here for a second time, but I'm assuming you are new to this and wanting to figure this out. So we're gonna just, before we start, make sure that we understand how our network is built. So I am starting this off by creating our inner network. We're going to have this inner network, you know, the network that is going to have all of our traffic go to, as we can see if I open this again. If we're going to set this up where we, you know, differentiate between three routers and then have everything connected, what we'd like to do is call these networks, or have these as a sort of net setup where we are differentiating each network from the other network, but all these networks are going to be, they're not going to be the exact same network, because we need to be able to find other networks. We can't all call every network, and I need to close this one again. I can't call all these networks this same thing here. So we're gonna differentiate, just like you have like streets and numbering and cities and stuff like that. We're gonna make sure that we can find each city, and we're gonna do that by adding 20 in each network. We're gonna make sure that this is like our zip code, and that we can therefore know which city is developed, where. Yeah, it's been developed, but you know, we're not gonna call it developing. And then the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna set our router network, you know, the inner network that is a separate subnet that we're gonna connect each of these two. And the way that I'm going to configure it is that I'm going to always just call these, as is standard, the 10.0 point, and in this case this is less standard 12.1 in this case, because I'm going to add this here. We're starting at 1 and we're gonna go to number 2, and we're gonna use 12 here because I'm connecting router 1. This is my router 1, area 1, or 10 in rather. We're gonna use this 1 as a way to say we start at 1 and we're gonna go to 2. And to go to 2, I need to go to the second address on this street, you know, on this network. And we are going from 1, on line 1, 2, we are going to go from 1 to 2. And so now we are at address number 20. And then we're gonna do exactly the same thing. We are now at number 2. And we're gonna go to router 3. And of course we start at number 1 and we're gonna go to number 2. And then we're gonna do the next thing, and we're gonna go from router 3 to 4. We're gonna be at 1 as we start, and then we're gonna do the same thing here. This is 3, 4, connecting router 3 to router 4, and then we're gonna do the same thing. It's just always the same thing, just right here, 4 to 5. We start at 1 and we go to 2. And then again, now a tricky one. Are we going to go to 5, 6? No, of course we're not gonna go 5, 6. We're gonna go from 5 to router 1. And we're gonna go from router 5 to router 1, and we start with 1 here, and the next address or the next house is going to be 2. So now we have 3 ports set up that are going to need to be turned on, and we're gonna do the or what we're gonna be doing is we're gonna make sure these have the proper names. I'm just checking if I put 1 and 2 everywhere right, so I'm not confusing you. No, we didn't, so we can start with the configuration. We can open this one here. I am seeing my recording is not capturing this window. How am I going to solve this in this case? Give me a second, I'll be right back. So here I am again. I had a little bit of an issue. I was capturing the application itself, but not the whole screen, and therefore this thing didn't pop up. So here I am again. And so the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna just set up the network here. We're gonna make sure we're now at 0, 0. What we defined here, I've turned it on. Every time we do this, we need to turn this on. And then we have to make sure that we set the right address. So 192.168.10.1 is what we defined here, and then we automatically get a correct or right enough subnet. In the next one, it's the one that we set up here. We see gig 01 is the one we set up, so we are going to fill this in, and that's our first port on this network. Now what we are going to do here is we're going to enable subnetting in a different way than it's standardly given. We're gonna go to 5.2, and what this is going to do is going to make sure, if you know anything about subnetting, this is going to make sure that we have a network that has just about the right amount of addresses, so 2 in between, that is going to make sure that we can subnet in this range of these two, so it's easy for our routers to know and understand where they need to send packages. If we don't do this, I've tried this before, it worked with like 2 routers to set this lower or on the same subnet as these, but once we go into the larger whole of the topology, we're gonna encounter issues with packets being dropped, getting into holes and never appearing, and we are trying to avoid that, so we're gonna make sure that this is all just set as we like. And then of course we have here on the other side is where the other side or the last router will be set, and that's I can't forget the 0, so we're already, make sure you, I did not ask to go 10.0.51.2. If we're gonna make mistakes here, this is going to make our network fail. So I've turned this one on, this one is on too, they're automatically once this one is set on the right network, and then we aren't seeing anything appear yet because the other side needs to be turned on as well. And then so what we can do is we can set up the second one. We're gonna set up the second one just as to make sure we can see that the connection is already working. So again, what we're gonna do, and I've already copied this one, we're gonna set this to the inner, the 0, 0 is going to be our 20. This is the one that is going to be going into the PC on our network 20, on our zip code 20, so packages know where to go when we are setting up our router tables, which we will do next. So then of course we are on the 01, as we can see here, gig 01 is our 10.0.12.2. I hope I'm not doing that outside of my screen. And then I am going to 0.12.2 and set this one up right here. Again, this is the wrong network. We are trying to set this up on 255.255.252 to make sure we're within this range, and that is easy for package just to find their way and arrive where they need to. Make the router's life easier to minimize failure. And then the last one, of course, is the one that's going from here to here, router 2 to router 3. We're gonna go, and this is the first one, and it's set up. Now everything is on. We can see that these are going on too. We haven't configured the PCs yet, so we're gonna do the first one. We're gonna go to config, desktop IP config, and then here we have IPv4 addresses. Of course, this is our 10 network. We're gonna start with 10 in case we'd like to add more routers in front. That makes it easy to know, like, okay, all our working computers for now will be number 10. It's gonna set up this one, and our default gateway is the one that we set up as our inner network. Here, of course, the number 1. Okay, and then we can close, and then this should basically mean that it's going to work. And then here we do the same. We get IP configuration. We set this up on number 20. This is the number 10 computer, the same network as always. And then we go to set up the default gateway, which is our 20, because 20 is the network that we are on. Very simple, very easy. The only thing is, if we were pinging now or sending packages, it would arrive here and go nowhere. Why? Because we haven't routed our tables yet. So to route our tables, I'm gonna start with this one here. We started with that network there, and then what we're gonna do is we're gonna set up this network. Network means, or network mask, and next hop means we are setting where this next packages needs to travel to. If we are looking for network number 20, the first network we're going to have to define, it will be 168.20.1, 0 even. Otherwise, we're going to get error message. So the entire network we're using, not just a specific device, the entire network we're looking for. And then the mask is going to be, of course, it's going to be this network. It's going to be the one where we are, I would like to think, no, it's not going to be that network. I have to now, yeah, it's going to be 255.255.255.0. That's the network we're looking for because it's the network of this one. I tend to mix these up. If we're not looking for the network here, we're looking for the one here. If we now do 252 here, it wouldn't find it, because what we're really looking for is the network this PC is on, and we're gonna find the network this PC is on with this network on the next hop. That's what submasking is for, you know, so we can subdivide our network into further groups and then try to match these with each other. And then now we can go to the next hop, which then in this case would be the next hop we are giving 10.0.12.2. We add this one and we get a very nice table address, which we can then add another one to, because the next one that we are getting, number 30, is going to be over here. This is router our router 3. It now says router 4, but like this is the third one we set up, and this is how we're gonna go 1 2 3 4 5. Now the next best thing, we're not gonna go through here, and then through here. We're gonna go just through here. That's just one single extra hop we need to take to get to that address, and everything else is just right, because the next hop is always going to be the same route to get to 30, but we first need to pass to number 20, or the second router. We add this one, and then we still have 2 to go, the number 4 and the number 5 here. We'll start with number 5 because that's intuitively the easiest one. This one is going here. We see 51 is the one we're going to through, and this one is the one we're going to hop to, the number 1 of of router number 5. So it's going to be 51.1 for number 50. For number 5, our fifth network, our 50 network, as we can see here, and we're gonna add this one. And then of course, to go to number 4 and to our address number 40, you know, the city code number 40, we need to go through here. And now we're telling our devices, you need to go here and here for this device, and you need to go here and here for this device. And then our table is fully correct. We're just telling the router where it needs to go to find specific addresses. This is static routing. This is not the dynamic routing. Of course, we are not gonna let our servers figure this out themselves. This is for if you have like a company or whatever where you need tight control and to direct traffic like very specifically, because you can't just have it go everywhere, because you are setting up specific computers where you want to easily be able to route to yourself. You're maybe like developing code, if you're using any sort of SSH stuff that is requires you to know where exactly your computer is. You want to be able to find it by setting up a static and very specific IP. So we've got this one set up. Now still it's not going to fully work. I will be able to address this router here now, but we still need to go to this router, and we are going to need to make sure that this router is also set up. We're gonna go to the voila, the same routing table but for this device. And then what do we need? We need to find the number 10, we need to find the number 30, we don't need number 20 anymore because we're already on this network. It knows that it's on that network, so it knows where to direct it, so we don't need to route that. And then number 40 and number 50 is also what we need to set up. Okay, so the first two that are connected through 12.1, this one here that we're gonna hop to is going to be the 192. Oh, do I still have this in my... Yes, we're gonna go to the 10 one, but it's with a 0. It's for the whole network. I'm gonna copy that, and then we're gonna go to 255.255.255.0. We're going for the networks that have this subnet, and the next hop to find this one is going to be 10.0.12.1, because that's the one, the port that we're looking for over here. It's gonna send it over here on this network and then find it, and then we can add this one. And then there's of course another one, the number 50, the one that's over here, is going to go through this one. So we need to define the same thing. Every time this thing is going to hop, it's going to check I'm looking for number 50, and then it's going to transfer it to the next one. So it's asked, where do I find number 50? Our table goes, you can find it here, but it won't arrive there. It will search for it there, and then this router is going to say you need to go there, and then you know, in the end you'll find your number 50 over there. We add this one. I hope I'm not making any mistakes. I don't think so. And then I am going to go for number 40. And our number 40 is going to, our number 4 is first here, so it's going to 23.2. If it's looking for 40, and the same also for 30. It first goes to 30, this is the 31, and for 40 it's going to go to this. So it's going to also be that we need to add number 30 on the same specific hop. So now we've set up our setup, our routers, and now it should be that I can already go to from this guy to this guy, and we'll see if there's any issues here. I am going to say Cisco Packet Tracer has some issues. I've noticed when I do this, sometimes the first time I try this, it's going to give an error. And then the second time I do it is going to work. So we're gonna see if this is going to do it. We're gonna go to that router and it's sending it back. And we're gonna go again. And now it's gonna go. And let's see, we're gonna do reset again. And then there. And then it's there. That's what I mean. It's like sometimes it does that. Maybe it's something to do with like that it has to detect that the first time, and that it's like simulating it so accurately that it's like that it's just not working from the first time. It's a little bit of the it's a little bit annoying when you're using this software, that it's sometimes too accurate or like a little bit buggy. I know I started at version 7 and then using certain files in version 7 worked, while at version 8 it didn't work and stuff like that. Sometimes it's like a little bit of having no clue whether it's the program that's having an issue or you're just misinterpreting something or having an issue yourself. Just try something twice, and as you see, we've had the package delivered over here. Now we need to set up these other guys, which I am just going to quickly go over. I'm not going to like do an immense amount of going through this. We've already been through this. It's just always the same thing. I'm gonna set up the static because no, we have not yet done this one. So we're first going to start with these. I'm gonna set this up. The first one is going to be 30.1. this one is going to be, this is 0 1, 0 1 is 23, 10.23.2. I forgot the 0. 0. Okay. Incorrect networks. We are on 255.255.252 specificity, and then we set this on, and we're gonna do the same for this guy, the other side, GO2, which is this one. I can just copy that if I want to, and then go here, and this is now correct. And then we need to set up the table. We see everything is connected here already. We're gonna say we're at router 3. Okay, and then what port, where do we need to go? We need to go to 20, 10, 40, and 50 and 30, which should be 10, 20, 40 and 50, because the 30 is outside of our range. So again, 192, I'll just do it like this. Oh no, can I go? So let's start with 10 and then go to 255.255.255.0, and we are going to go into the next op 10.0.23.1, because this one is the first one we are going to go through. We're going to add this one, and then we need to, for the number 20, we need this one over here. We need to do the same thing. So this should be a correct and basic route. And then for the other side, for number 40 and number 50, if we look at this one here, 34 from router 3 to number 4, and it's the second, this one that we're going to hop to. We add this one, and we're gonna add this to here as well. And now we have our basic table set up. So now I could go from this one to that one and so on. I'll try it. Oh no, of course, set up our device first. IP is 30.1, 10, and the default is 1. So like this, number 10 PC, 1 default, on, and then we can send a message from here to here without any issues. Of course, it's going to give me issues because that's just what this program always does. Okay, it's going to, it's indeed, it's being accurate, and it's just detecting the network for now before it actually sends it. So I need to go again, and then we'll see that this is going to arrive over here as I set it. And our message, and now of course it's going to verify and send it back and go, yes, you have had this message arrive. Next router, which is the config here. We go and set this one up, 40. I'll just copy this, paste it, and it's going to set this, turn it on, go, then this one on the 01, set up the right subnet, correct, turn it on, and the 02, we're going to go here for 5. Now is this the 02? Is not the number 2, is the number 1, because it's the first port that is going to go to the next router. And then this is correct, and you turn this on. And then of course, as a last thing, we need to set up our routing table. Our routing table is going to go to number 5, number 1, number 2, and number 3. So I'm gonna guess we're gonna start with, we'll do it in order, 10, 20, 30, 50. So the number 10. Oh no, we'll set up number 10 and number 50 first. Okay. To be logical, so we are not just having to rewrite things. 19, always the same, 118, 162, and then 10.0 mask 255.255.255.0. And then the next hop is going to be this guy, 10.45.2. I seem to keep forgetting the 0, and then I add this one. The same is going to be the case for the 50, because that's actually the first one on our hopping network configuration. We have now the number 50, and then the last two, so we are going this way, 34.1, 34.1, adding it. I did do the wrong one. We're adding number 30, it is, and then the number 20 to this network. So now we have a routing table going from one router to the next router, or just the router in general, and this should be the correct setup. So I can close this again, I can test this if I want to, so I can set up these two and we will check. I'm going to just, did it just not, wait, reset? Oh, I understand what I did. We forget. You see, it's easy to forget, even if you know exactly what to do, it's easy to forget something, but no worries. If we know how to debug something, we know exactly what to look for. This is the network 40.10 for the computer, this network, and of course we're going to copy this guy and paste it here for the default network, so it knows where to send the package to at the start. And now it should be that if I send it, it still didn't reset. Aha. And it's going to come back and send it and come back, and we're going to reset it, and now it should do what it's supposed to do. Oh, it's giving me an issue. It's giving me an issue. It's sending it back. Did I switch cable or something? O2 is 45.1. O1 is 34.2. Yes, not a subnet issue. None of these are the issue. We'll see. Did I add something wrong here? 45 is the 10, which is this one where we're needing to pass through, and 50 is the same, 35.2, and then 34.1 should be 30 and 20. It's on subnet 24, which is exactly right. Oh, I see. That's a big mistake. I have to add an 8 here, and I wish this, oh god, that this but we learned something here, you know, one wrong number, and we're in the wrong. 62 is 68, not 62. We're not looking for 40, so we're gonna just go back to 10.0 and then mask 255.255.252. No, 1 too little, 255. Watch out, and then 10 is going to go to 45 dot, not 45.2. This should be right. Add it. It's not even right. 0. This is not supposed to be 30. This is supposed to be 24. 10. Just double checking it now. I'm not making any further mistakes, and then this is going to got to go to 20 next. I am guessing, no, 50. Then 50 is here. We're gonna go through 50. This is where it's getting confusing. So you need to make sure that it's accurate. 0.1, and then the other two are going to be 20 and 30. Add this guy, 30, add this guy, and so this is now going to be functional. Yes, I need to reset it, and it's going all the way, as you can see, and it's coming back, and that's it. Okay, and then the last one that we need to set over here is going to be these, and how they need to route. We still need to set up this computer, but these guys have a similar or the same construction. Just simply this go on. Number one now is going to be 10 point, as you can see here, 0.0.45.2. The subnet needs to be 255.255.252. Differentiate, and then we need to go here, the number 251.1, 10.0.51.1, and this is going to be this network. And now our full network is set up. We're gonna set up the table. Going to be pretty easy from here. We need to go to over here. This one, we're looking for the next hop here, and we're gonna go for this one. I'm gonna copy paste it to not make any mistakes in the numbering. 255.255.255.0, and then we have to add this one. We also need to add the 30. I'm getting a inconsistency, which is because we didn't add a 0 here, and then the 30 like that, and then we need to set up for the 51 to the 5.2. 51.2 is the next hop that we are going to get to get our final destination or final possibility. The first one we started with, the 10 network, from the last network, the 50 network. We're gonna be looking, we have got 30, 40, so the only two that could be left are 10 and 20. Because 50 is our router itself, is our network attached to our router. It knows where that one is. You know, it's automatically going to send the packages there. And then we need to boot our computer. At least we need to set up the IP configuration for it. This is this guy over here. We add this here, add a 0 to make sure it's computer 10. And then our default gateway is that exact one, the 0.1. Now we have our setup complete. Our simulation is reset. I can add this, go over there. Now of course I need to first have it error out twice, and then I reset the simulation, play it again, and now it's perfectly going over here where I set it, and then it's going to go back to tell the computer, hey, I found what you were looking for, or at least I've successfully sent the message. Gonna add it to pause, and that's basically the whole setup. Now you can do the exact same thing that I did over here. You can now just set this up here, so you can add more switches, add more computers, and then have a default that definitely works. That's it for now. That's what I wanted to say. It takes quite a little while to set this up, but once you understand this is very easy to do, and you can just do this yourself anywhere and anytime you want to. This is just basic routing if you're looking for static routing. Thank you for